thank you. Um, so yes, talking about we would like to hold you to the podium now to do the opening, and we thought that is so important when it links to what the barriers that we overcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you very much, Dr. Stoltenberg. I don't know if you noticed something in that clip of Prof. O'Connell. I thought, how is it possible that the person that I've met 9.5 years ago, Juliet, still looks the same as when you were speaking. So there's something there in the genes that we need to bottle. It's really a pleasure to be here this morning, and I want to say in opening that it's the perfect start to our morning, having listened to Prof. O'Connell. What an orator, and what the Jewish would say, what a mensch. A true leader and a true legend for UWC, and I think we would still, as UWC, have to spend time on not just processing, but reflecting and writing about not only the academic contribution, but the kind of contribution, the broader contribution that Prof. O'Connell has left here. The fact that we're sitting in a building such as this, and that you could drive into UWC and see the iconic life sciences and the chemical sciences building, those are external things, but it actually housed what was happening internally, and that was part of his greater vision, and we want to pay homage to him. So linking with what he said, I also reflected and I thought, Juliet, what a road we've had. And I thought this morning the theme of embracing it's quite important. It's not a theme of imposing emerging technologies, but embracing the emerging technologies and those disruptive, and actually to have the courage to not be scared of those disruptive technologies, because it might put you sometimes in a level of discomfort. But it's only through discomfort that we really learn and that we can actually produce better. And why I said I thought back of the very first, it was in between FISMA's 4, we still did all sorts of interesting things. And I recall at the end of 2015, I said to Juliet, we have to do blended learning, but not as a opt-in, opt-out. I don't know if you recall that. We have to do blended learning because this is going to set us on a path. And besides the fact, it will also give, on a practical way, will also ensure that when somewhere is burning, then knowledge production can still happen and learning can still happen. So in 2016 in the beginning, so what we've done is one of the 4 key priorities in the 2016 IOP. What we've done was to make learning with technology a key priority. And the reason why we opted for learning with technology was not just about the technology, but how the technology enables deeper learning, how it enables, you can't, and that's what we also did in the context of this, was to change goal 2 to become learning and teaching, and not teaching and learning. Because oftentimes, if you're so engrossed with the beautiful pedagogies that you're using and the methodology or praxis, that you forget at the end, why are we teaching? We are teaching because we want our students and ourselves to learn through the process. So that was a big paradigm shift for us. And Juliet, you and CICT were part of that. In 2016 January, not in such a fancy venue as in the education building, we were all in Juliet's, and I remember Clint, you guys were all there, and now Dr. Karen Kiss also there. And we had identified the need in every department to have blended learning champions. And I firmly believe that if that was not part of the key strategy on that journey that we said, university in the digital age is a journey of discovery for all of those of us that were involved. We went for training. Juliet and the team took all the blended learning champions there for training, and then that started constant. And you would see oftentimes on the UWC communication, there's another notification from CICT coming. They are doing this. And there was not the reluctance to embrace disruptive and disruptive technologies and disruption. So fast forward to 2020, I can give you the guarantee, but having been at university during that time as acting Vice Chancellor, that we would not have gone through our 2020 academic year successfully if it wasn't for CICT. And I want to pay homage to all of you, because they didn't do it in isolation. Clint, you worked the way in which you prepared, first through the champions and ongoing preparation, so that we could get to a stage where now we're sitting on 99% of our modules, new modules, in Ikamba. And I've seen that curve growing from the opt-in, opt-out. I do it because I want, not because it's needed for the kind of learning environment that I want to create for my students, into something that I do and something that's part of my learning and teaching philosophy. And so that shift was very important, and I don't want us to lose the reflection on that shift, Juliet, because we could get, unlike other universities that really struggled, and I was in a position to see what was happening in the system, in the higher education sector, and we had a much more seamless transition. It was still difficult because we had to deal with all the impact of COVID, but at least when it came from a blended learning perspective, and being that transition from blended learning into fully online learning was much easier for UWC. And it's something that we have written about, but I would encourage you to actually go back to that time, Juliet, and still further, also academically and from a scholarly perspective, reflect on that time. And that set us up for 2021. And I will never forget, there was an award that CICT got, Juliet, and are there any Faculty of Science people here? So that award was for the Faculty of Science Learning Labs UK Award, and I think it's important that we don't forget that moment. That award was saying that in the midst of COVID, you went the extra mile and you embraced the simulated technologies, the ARVRs, and the learning labs that in a sense, you grabbed that opportunity with, if I remember correctly, it was chemical science, with chemistry. And how, through the former dean of the faculty, Prof. Davis Coleman, he was very enthusiastic about that, and between him and Prof. Holgate and the rest of the leadership there at CICT under Juliet Stoltenkamp, you earned that award. And award is just something that you see, but if you think back of what it took to get to that award, something to be proud of and learn from. And here, fast forward to AI. Instead of, and I think it's something that we need to be proud of. I remember last year at the beginning of first Senate Academic Planning meeting, I said, before I went to Juliet, we need to do, instead of being scared of AI, this is the embracing part. Let's look at what are the kinds of principles that we could have at UWC that would enable us as a university to embrace AI, not only in learning and teaching, but in all the other areas of our scholarly endeavor. And if I think back of last year's the principles, there was a task team that we set up. The principles, we've had now April, we had the workshop, and tremendous work has been happening. And what I was so fascinated by was the willingness and the courage, not only of academics, but also our professional support staff, to go and live in disruption. Because when I saw all those presentations of how people were thinking, instead of saying students are going to cheat, we just fall to plagiarism, that how do I make my assessments so much more challenging using AI, fusing it into my assessments, and how do I get our students to think critically around this is what AI is, ChatGPT is saying. AI is not the only one. We know there are other forms of technology. So for me, today is a special day. I want to use this opportunity to say, I won't have this opportunity again, because next year, next week or the next 10 days, my last reflective report will be coming up. So Juliet and team and all the academics and professional support staff here, What a ride. I've enjoyed every single moment in this role. And I know that where we've taken over from what Prof. O'Connell was talking about, and from the access, and it went actually beyond access, epistemological access. It went to where we're embracing change in such a way that we can be part of that transformation through disruption. And I want to thank you for that. You've enriched my life, and I just wish all of you the very, very best. Thank you.
This is our leaders' last colloquium. They have to come face to face. Quite a few people online as well.
Now I can see our page.
We really want to thank you for your leadership. I don't think there's words that can explain everyone's timing when fees was falling in, just then it was COVID. So we want to thank you and for always supporting us. Being firm with us, but then also supporting us. So and thank you for that. So we got you some flowers and we got you, we think it's nice. A very nice sea jacket. Because we were thinking, what do we give a woman that has basically everything? And we put our logo on, so wherever you go, wear it, and I know you will be proud.
I will wear it with pride. Thank you so much, everyone. Much appreciated. I have to dash, unfortunately. The life of being so magical, but I want to be here. Thank you so much. Enjoyed it.